So, as we get closer and closer to E3, we've got more little things coming out here and there, so it's sort of a roundup of all that sort of stuff. Mainly because there isn't that much news, because everybody's waiting for Overwatch to release at 7 PM Eastern, midnight UK time, whatever. Which has probably already happened by the time you're watching this video, who knows. So, Gran Turismo showed off Gran Turismo Sport, their new fandangled, it's not even a word, game. And basically, from what all I've heard of the people that have played it at the event, it's nothing special. It's basically Gran Turismo 6 just looking a bit sheenier because it's on a newer console. Which is sort of worrying to hear, but then again, if you think about the franchise, it has been pretty similar from iteration to iteration. We've just had sort of teasers already for, I think the Madden teasers coming out. We'll probably see more of that at E3. What are the E3 events that they put on, whatever you want to call it. But I guess the big one, and you know, this is how sort of a quiet news week it's been. The big one, if you can call it that, is the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare train continues. So much so that it is now the second most disliked video in YouTube history. In the last few weeks, it actually overtook the just shy of 2.1 million dislikes that Rebecca Black's Friday, Gotta Get Down on Friday got. As it currently stands, wow, the figures aren't even accurate. The Infinite Warfare trailer has 2.5 million dislikes. So that's gone up 200,000 since the figures on Wikipedia, which were from last Tuesday, the 17th of May 2016. So yeah, the momentum comes still further. The question is, will Activision be bothered to listen? The sad thing is, I'm feeling no, because it probably is the only way that copies of Infinite Warfare are going to get sold. Because I think if people were offered the option of getting Modern Warfare 1 remastered or Infinite Warfare, I think they would choose Modern Warfare remastered. Because I think people are sick of futuristic shooters. How? No, right. It's interesting that I use those two words back to back. Because if you think about it, Doom is a futuristic first-person shooter. And, you know, sort of like with Wolfenstein a few years back. Which ironically is Bethesda as well, even though it's a different studio. But it's the same publisher. There were reservations about Wolfenstein, and Doom turned out to be... I mean, the multiplayer is still okay. It's not as bad as I think it was with the beta, so they've improved stuff there. But the single player, which everybody was sort of doubting, they did the 1 hour sort of preview stream of it, and everyone was like, okay, this looks interesting. And then they actually got to play it, and it's it's highly satisfying because it's what you expect from a Doom game. It's killing a lot of stuff, murdering a lot of stuff, and finding secrets. All that, basically, just all that, to some extent. So, you know, it's proof that futuristic shooters do work. But of course, the last Doom game came out, what, 10 years ago? Give or take, Doom 3. And the Resurrection of Evil sort of expansion. Which pretty much says that, I think, you know, the fact that, you know, everybody's lauding the praise on Battlefield. Hell, I did it on this channel a few weeks back. In reservation, you know, perhaps I shouldn't be so hyped for it, because it will probably turn out to be just average. But I think the only reason that people sort of like, yes, we want this, is just because it was something different. If it was a World War II shooter, I still think it would have had the appeal to make everyone go, yeah, we get it. We might as well just say that we want to see this. You know, yeah. Sorry, I was losing on track foot. If it was World War II again, you know, cynical people will probably go, well, people will probably just, you know, go, oh, not another World War II shooter. But then, of course, they wouldn't, because I mean, unless you take out, like, Nazi zombies and whatever, apart from the first Black Ops game, which was obviously 60s based, everything's either been modern or futuristic in the Call of Duty stuff. Because Black Ops 2 was sort of not augmented reality, a sort of staged reality, if you catch my drift. It was, some of it was supposedly based in the 80s, but with technology that wouldn't have been able to exist, and then some of it was obviously set in the future. And then Black Ops 3 just went, yeah, we might as well just stick with the shooter stuff, or the future stuff, I should say. And, you know, it's just a shame, really, that it's sort of happening like this. You know, and if you think about it, this is really, well, Activision, obviously, because it's Blizzard, they've got Overwatch, which is going to be making a lot of money anyway, and the new World of Warcraft expansion, Legion, which people are excited for, and probably another Skylanders, but that won't get revealed until about E3-ish. So would it actually be worth their while to, perhaps not even at launch, but I'm saying somewhere down the line, actually release the remastered edition of Modern Warfare 1 as a digital download properly? You know, sometime after launch, whether it be Christmas or January or whatever, just doing something like that. Because that's the thing, if people resist the urge to get Infinite Warfare, will it affect Activision? Will they basically try and do damage control and make the money off selling it individually, rather than missing out on what they're doing because people are having to buy the fancy edition just to get the expansion content? it's an interesting move. And considering we live in this time of, online protest and everything, and, very vocal groups, we've seen that already with the Ghostbusters trailer stuff, which I think is like only 11. That's got only half the dislikes that the Call of Duty trailer has. I think that's an interesting point. The Ghostbusters trailers has half the dislikes as a video game. Okay, they pale into comparison to Justin Bieber's Baby, which apparently has like 6 million dislikes. I don't think it's going to get... I mean, if it got that far, Activision would perhaps actually decide to take notice. But, turns out 2016 could actually be the year of the vocal social media, it seems. Interesting thing. Apologies, if you thought it was lacking this week. It was. Probably something will happen next week. I don't know. You've sort of got... The problem is you've got quite a lull here. Although we pretty much have been told that some things are going to get announced before E3 within the next couple of weeks, before they actually get properly shown at E3. So I've heard reports about stuff from Ubisoft, stuff from EA, some more details from Microsoft, I think, about Gears before we actually get a showing of that. Just a whole load of things. So hopefully there will be more to come over the next fortnight. So I'll guess I'll catch you then. Probably minus this. Yeah. If anybody was attached to this, bye.